Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into fan fiction.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically, we're going to be looking at a Harry Potter fan fiction called Beneath the Surface as like a case study,
Right.
to kind of see how all this works, right? Because fan fiction,
Yeah.
it's a whole world.
It is a whole world.
It's not just like amateur stories or, whatever.
Yeah, not at all.
There's so much to it.
It's huge EE.
And it's really interesting to look at, like, what are the rules?
Right. What are the conventions?
The conventions, like, how does it all work?
How do fans take these worlds that they love and really kind of make them their own?
Right. And especially like reimagining characters. And I think this is a really cool example beneath the surface because it takes characters that we think we know, like
we think we know them so well.
From the Harry Potter books, Harry and Pansy Parkinson.
Right. Who would have thunk it?
And it puts them in this completely unexpected situation together, which is just really fascinating to me.
That is one of the big draws, I think, of fan fiction, is taking characters that we think we know so well and putting them in situations that we would never, ever see in canon.
Right. Exactly.
And this story plays with this idea of canon divergence.
Okay.
Which is where it starts at a point in the established universe, but then veers off.
So it takes like a point.
It takes a point.
And then it's just like...
and goes in a completely different direction.
Like hard left.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've got Harry, we've got Pansy.
Yeah.
In the books, I mean, they basically hate each other.
Yeah, they do.
They represent, like, total opposite sides of the wizarding world.
Total opposites.
So what makes this pairing in particular so intriguing for fan fiction readers?
I think it forces us to confront our preconceived notions about these characters.
Quite interesting.
We think we know them.
Right.
But fan fiction often uses these kinds of unexpected pairings to explore themes of growth and forgiveness.
Okay.
And the idea that people aren't always what they seem on the surface.
I like it. So it's like, it gives us a chance to re-examine these characters in a new light and kind of look at like, well...
are they really as simple as we think they are?
Right, exactly.
Probably not.
And this story, Beneath the Surface, does this by setting the story in a post-war Hogwarts.
Yes.
Which is a really interesting setting to begin with.
It's a very symbolic setting.
Because, like, you've got those old rivalries.
Which have been softened by the shared trauma of the war.
Right. So, like, it's not just that they're back at Hogwarts.
Right.
It's like Hogwarts after everything they've been through.
After everything.
Right. And so it's really interesting to think about, like, how that might change people.
Right.
Change their perspective.
Exactly.
Even just the setting itself is
is ripe for
this kind of exploration.
Absolutely.
Now, in the fan fiction, Pansy is described as being much quieter.
So different.
Than she was in the books.
Right. She's withdrawn. She's not that confident bully that she was in the original series.
Right.
Even her appearance has changed.
Oh, interesting.
She doesn't care about her perfectly styled hair or, like, pristine robes anymore.
It's like the war has really affected her.
Yeah, it's almost as if the war has broken her spirit.
It's like a visual representation of, like,
yes,
this internal change.
Her internal state.
That she's going through.
Absolutely.
Which is really fascinating.
And I think it's such a clever way to show character development.
Right.
Without explicitly stating it.
Yeah.
It's not just telling the reader, oh, Pansy has changed.
Right.
It's showing you through her actions, through her appearance.
And also, it makes you curious.
Yes. What happened? What happened?
Oh, what happened?
What is she going through?
What's going on in her head?
Yeah.
So it really draws you in as a reader.
It does.
It makes you want to understand her better.
Absolutely. And this technique is even more powerful because it plays with what fans call fanon.
Fanon.
Yes, which are those shared interpretations and ideas that fans have developed about characters outside of the original text.
So, like, there's canon, what's in the books,
right.
And then there's
fanon, which is all the stuff that fans have kind of created.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
And agreed upon as a community.
Yeah.
And it influences how these characters are perceived in fan fiction.
So you're telling me that there's like a whole layer of fan-created lore that influences these stories?
Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing.
And it makes you realize that fan fiction is more than just writing stories.
Right.
It's about engaging with a larger community and contributing to a collective understanding of these fictional worlds.
It's like a whole...
It's world building.
World building community.
Collaborative world building.
Project, yeah.
Yes.
So we talked about Pansy.
Right.
But what about Harry?
Yeah, what about the boy who lived?
What draws him to her in this new dynamic?
Well, the story sets up their initial encounters in the library.
Okay. The library. So we're at Hogwarts. We're in the library.
Right.
What does that represent?
It represents knowledge.
Okay.
Quiet reflection.
Uh-huh.
A place where you can be alone with your thoughts.
Interesting.
Which is a symbolic setting.
Right.
That hints at the kind of connection they might develop.
Oh, I like that.
You know?
So the library, it's not just a random setting. It's
Right.
like it's intentionally chosen
Yes.
to represent something deeper
Absolutely.
about their potential relationship.
The potential connection.
Okay, so we're in the library.
Uh-huh.
But even in this quiet setting, their conversations are still pretty tense, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They're not just like suddenly best friends.
No. There's a lot of awkwardness, unspoken tension.
They're still figuring each other out.
Trying to figure each other out.
And there's that scene in chapter 2 where Harry finds Pansy alone in the corridor.
Uh-huh.
And she's basically like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Go away, she says.
Something like, maybe I just don't like being watched.
Yes. And what's so interesting is his response. He says, or maybe you don't like being seen.
Whoa. That's a really interesting distinction.
Right. It changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
It suggests that her withdrawal isn't just about privacy.
Uh-huh.
It's about vulnerability.
She doesn't want people to see who she's become.
After the war, yeah.
Well, because she's changed so much.
She's changed so much.
And maybe she's not comfortable with that yet.
Exactly.
So it's like she's built up these walls.
Yes.
And Harry's trying to like
break through.
Yeah. Figure out like how to connect with her.
Absolutely.
So do you think this vulnerability is what ultimately draws him to her?
I think it's a huge factor.
Okay.
Because Harry knows trauma.
He's been through so much.
He knows what it's like to feel lost and alone.
Yeah.
So when he sees that same vulnerability in Pansy,
Mm-hmm.
it creates a sense of empathy and understanding between them.
Like they can connect on that level.
They can connect on that level, yeah.
Because they've both been through something really difficult.
They're both kind of wounded souls seeking connection.
And they find it in each other.
In a world that's been shattered by war, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So we're seeing this shift in both Harry and Pansy. They're shedding their old identities and becoming more open to the possibility of connecting
With deeper level.
On a deeper level. And the author doesn't rush this.
Right.
It's like a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
Which is really effective.
It is.
Because it allows that relationship to develop organically.
Yeah. And it's built on these small, intimate moments where they slowly reveal their true selves to each other.
Like the scene with the first snowfall.
Oh, yes, that scene.
That was a good one.
The pivotal scene.
Yeah, because it's where we see their relationship move beyond just shared trauma.
Right.
There's something more there.
More there, yeah.
And she asks him.
Pansy asks Harry.
Why he even cares.
Yeah, why he cares that she's so quiet.
And he says.
He says that line, because I know what it's like to feel lost.
And that's so powerful.
It's so powerful.
Because it's like he's acknowledging her pain.
He sees her, yeah.
He sees her, he understands her.
And he's there for her.
And then she reaches out and touches his hand.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Which is like such a small gesture.
It is.
But it speaks volumes.
It speaks volumes.
About how their relationship is changing.
It shows how much they've grown closer.
Right, because they're letting their guard down.
Yes, exactly.
And allowing themselves to be vulnerable with each other.
Vulnerability is key.
It is, and that's what sets the stage for their relationship.
To develop further.
Yeah. But we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh yeah, we're just getting started.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more to explore and beneath the surface.
And in the world of fan fiction as a whole.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back to dive even deeper into the complexities of their relationship and what it reveals about the power of fan fiction. To reimagine characters and stories.
I can't wait.
Me too.
Let's do it.
Welcome back. And you know, we were talking about Harry and Pansy.
Right.
And it really struck me that it's so interesting how fan fiction can like flip character tropes on their head.
Totally. I mean, think about Pansy in the original Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
She's a classic mean girl.
Like she's the stereotypical.
Yeah, social hierarchy.
Yeah, hierarchy.
Control, especially within Slytherin.
But in beneath the surface.
Like she's stripped of all that.
Yeah, she's not the queen bee anymore.
No.
Like the war has kind of leveled the playing field in a way.
Yeah, and now she's struggling to find her place in this new world.
And it makes you realize that even characters who seem like really flat or one-dimensional in canon can have these hidden depths.
Right, and that's one of the things I love about fan fiction.
Yeah.
It gives these so-called minor characters a chance to step into the spotlight.
Right,
You
yeah.
get to see their vulnerabilities,
Your motivations.
their hopes and fears.
All the stuff that you don't really get in the original books.
You don't get it, and it's like you said, it kind of humanizes them.
Yeah.
It makes them more relatable.
And as Harry and Pansy spend more time together in the story,
Yeah.
they start to open up to each other.
Uh-huh.
And there's this moment where Pansy admits that she always envied Harry.
That scene was so powerful.
Which I thought was so interesting because it wasn't like she envied his fame
No.
or his magical abilities or anything like that.
It was deeper than that.
It was his connections.
Yeah, she envied his genuine connections with people.
She wanted that.
She craved that kind of intimacy, but she didn't know how to get it.
I think that's something a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Feeling like they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And it just makes Pansy a much more sympathetic character.
And I think it's really interesting how beneath the surface avoids falling into that trap of the reformed bad girl trope.
Oh, yeah.
Which we see a lot in fan fiction, and sometimes it can feel a little superficial, but Pansy's change feels earned.
It feels like a natural.
Like a natural progression for a character.
Given what she's been through.
Given the circumstances of the war, exactly.
So it makes their relationship feel more authentic.
More believable, yeah.
And it also challenges the reader.
Makes you think.
To question our own assumptions about people.
We tend to put people in boxes.
Right. We're like, oh, you're a Slytherin, you must be bad.
Exactly. But fan fiction like this reminds us that people are capable of change.
People are complex.
They're complex. There's more to them than meets the eye.
And it's interesting to see how Harry's perception of Pansy changes, too.
Right.
Like, as he gets to know her better.
He starts to see beyond the surface.
He sees beyond those past conflicts.
Yeah.
And he recognizes her intelligence.
Her wit, her resilience.
Yeah, all these things that maybe he didn't see before.
And I think it's a great example of how fan fiction can explore the transformative power of empathy.
Right.
By choosing to see Pansy as an individual rather than just a former enemy. Harry opens himself up to the possibility of a real connection.
And this isn't just about romantic potential.
No, it's about personal growth.
Like, they both learn and evolve through their interactions with each other.
Yeah, Harry learns to let go of some of that anger and resentment.
Towards Pansy.
Towards Slytherin in general.
And Pansy learns
to embrace vulnerability.
Yeah, which is something she never would have done before.
No, not in the original series.
So their relationship really becomes a catalyst for both of them.
To become more mature, more compassionate people.
Right, and that brings us to one of the most, captivating aspects of fan fiction.
What's that?
Romance.
Oh, yes, romance.
In unexpected pairings.
The unexpected pairings.
Because, on the surface, Harry and Pansy seem completely incompatible.
They do.
Like, they come from different worlds.
Different values.
Different values. They have a history of conflict.
A lot of baggage.
So what makes it work?
Well, I think fan fiction allows us to break free from those traditional pairings.
Right, like the ones you expect to see.
Exactly. And explore what might happen when characters who seemingly have nothing in common are thrown together.
You get to see those sparks fly.
You do, yeah.
And beneath the surface, it works because the author doesn't force it.
They don't.
Like, it's not just, oh, suddenly they're in love.
It's gradual. It's built on shared trauma.
Vulnerability.
And a willingness to see beyond the masks they've both worn for so long.
And it's not all perfect.
No, it's not a fairy tale.
There are moments of tension.
Disagreements.
Doubts.
Which I think makes it feel more real.
Yeah, because relationships are messy.
They are. They take work.
Especially when you have that history to overcome.
Absolutely.
So it really raises the question of what makes a particular pairing compelling.
Is it opposites attract?
Shared experiences.
Or the potential for growth and change within the characters?
That's a good question.
It is something for fans to think about.
When they're reading fan fiction.
When they're reading and writing fan fiction.
What is it about these characters that draws them together?
That makes it feel both surprising and satisfying.
And I think Beneath the Surface answers those questions really well.
It does.
It shows us that even the most unlikely pairings
can lead to profound personal growth.
And that love can heal old wounds.
Yeah.
And inspire us to become better versions of ourselves.
That's such a powerful message.
It is, but it's not just the themes.
Right.
It's the writing itself.
The author's craft is crucial.
Yeah, they use such vivid imagery.
Realistic dialogue.
And a pacing that keeps you hooked.
You just want to keep reading.
And I love how they weave in all those details from the original Harry Potter book.
Oh, yeah, the familiar spells, the locations.
Even those minor characters that you're like, oh, I remember them.
Yeah, it creates this sense of continuity.
Right, like you're really immersed in that world.
It's that balance between familiarity and novelty.
That makes great fan fiction.
So enjoyable.
But there's another aspect that we haven't really talked about yet,
What's that?
which is the community.
Oh, yes, the social aspect of fandom.
Because fan fiction isn't just about individual creativity.
No, it's about shared passion,
Collective interpretation
building a community.
around a beloved work of fiction.
Yeah, connecting with others who share your love for a particular story,
Discussing theories.
debating interpretation.
And even collaborating on new stories.
And Beneath the Surface has done this so well.
Like, it sparks so many discussions online.
Fan art
Other creative works
brought people together.
who might not have connected otherwise.
That's right.
Which is really amazing.
It's a testament to the power of storytelling
To transcend boundaries
and create meaningful connections.
between people from all walks of life.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's consider this. What other fictional universes
Ooh, good question.
hold the potential for equally compelling
But unexpected.
but unexpected character pairings?
Okay, yeah.
And what can we learn from Beneath the Surface about crafting those narratives
That resonate with readers.
and spark those crucial community connections?
We'll be right back
To explore those questions,
and wrap up our discussion. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into fan fiction.
back to those unexpected pairings.
Yes. We were talking about like other fictional worlds
Yeah.
and how you could apply these same ideas.
Exactly. It's so exciting to think about.
It is. It's like once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh,
The possibilities.
possibilities are endless.
Endless.
So we were talking about Harry Potter,
Right.
about Draco Malfoy and Luna Lovegood.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like he is so like tradition and power.
And she's just out there.
She's just like floating through the world.
Yeah, a free spirit.
Could that even work?
I think it absolutely could.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, their conflicting worldviews could create this amazing tension,
Right.
but also like the potential for growth,
Okay.
as they challenge each other's assumptions.
So like maybe Luna's empathy helps Draco see beyond those rigid beliefs he was raised with?
Or maybe Draco's ambition rubs off on Luna in unexpected ways.
Right, and suddenly she's like leading a revolution.
Exactly.
Like a very chill revolution.
a very Luna revolution.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to think about like what kind of story would unfold.
Would it be a clash of personalities?
Would they find common ground?
I don't know, but I want to find out.
Me too.
It's that what if, right?
It's like you're pushing beyond the limitations of canon,
Yes, we are.
and you're just like exploring all these possibilities.
We are in uncharted territory.
This is awesome.
I know, right?
Okay.
We could take Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice
Okay.
and imagine her meeting Mr. Darcy,
Okay, I'm with you.
but not just any Mr. Darcy.
The Marvel Mr. Darcy,
Yes.
like from the MCU,
Yes.
that is amazing. Okay.
Would sparks fly? Would their personalities clash? Or would they find common ground? So many possibilities.
It's like fan fiction is this incredible tool for like exploring what if scenarios.
Yes.
And challenging your assumptions about characters.
Absolutely. You're taking these characters that you think you know,
Right.
and you're putting them in completely new situations.
And then you see what happens.
Exactly. And it can be so revealing.
But where do you even begin with something like that?
Well, first of all, don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Fanfiction is a playground for creativity.
Choose characters that spark your curiosity.
Yes, even if the connection seems improbable at first.
Yeah, okay.
Do your research.
Research, okay.
Dive deep into the source material.
Get to know those characters.
Understand their motivations, their backstories,
Strengths and weakness.
all of it, so you can create a dynamic that feels authentic.
Okay, so you need a solid foundation.
You need a solid foundation,
And then,
and then don't be afraid to put your own spin on things.
okay.
Fan fiction is all about reinterpretation.
So it's not just about copying the original author's style.
No, it's about bringing your own creativity to the table.
Your own voice.
Your own voice, your own perspective.
That's what makes it unique.
Yeah.
This has been so eye-opening.
I'm glad.
Beneath the Surface really like opened my eyes to the possibilities of fan fiction.
It's a whole world out there.
It is. It's not just rewriting existing stories.
No, it's so much more than that.
It's about exploring the unexplored.
Challenging assumptions
Finding connections.
in the most unexpected places.
So to our listeners,
Yes.
whether you're a seasoned fan fiction enthusiast,
Or a curious newcomer.
dive in.
See where your imagination takes you.
You might just discover your next literary obsession
Or a new community
of like-minded individuals.
who share your passion.
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.